How's it going, folks? John from Harkus Audio and DIY Punk Rock here. Just wanted to do a quick run through of our new DIY punk rock, punk and melodic hardcore MIDI pack and how to build a drum track using the files provided. I thought I'd start off with something pretty straightforward in 4/4 with the kind of normal time grooves, some of the half time grooves, quarter time, a few fills out of the pack. And then I'll do a quick run through of how to use the hand grooves and how to implement them into your songs, as well as mix them up with other grooves so they work as well, and a little bit on the 3/4 stuff and how to put them together. So first of all, super straightforward. Once our pack's installed, you can basically double click on any of the files and they will play back in GGD as a loop. So for instance, if I double click on intro fill 1, it will continue to loop that until we hit stop, and you can do that with any of the files inside the pack. To export a file to your MIDI timeline, you physically click on the export button. Once you had double clicked on the file, you can then hit export and it will pull that file out into your MIDI timeline. So this has got Contact on it. It's a virtual instrument. It's going to play back those MIDI files exactly the same way as it just read them there. So if I hit play, so first and foremost, our BPM for this session and the way the beats were programmed was around about 200 beats per minute. So that's just a suggested starting point. There's nothing stopping you going slower and there's nothing stopping you going faster, just obviously to suit the needs of the song and the style you're doing. A lot of these will sound great all the way down to, say, even 150, possibly 120, but obviously they were designed to be slightly faster. So first and foremost, I've dragged in intro fill 1 there. You'll notice some of the files will have an extra bit of space at the end of them. And this is just caused because there's a note right at the end on the brink of the loop finishing. So if there are any files like that, you just simply drag back the space before bringing in your new file. And that will just simply loop the file as it was meant to be. So this is intro fill 1 from the intro fills folder. Say I have my guitar riffs already written and I'm kind of looking for the correct groove, then I can just audition through them and drag and drop in the right file that will suit the need of the song. But in this instance, I'm just going to kind of make a drum track that's going to inspire my writing. So I want to go into a kind of fast-paced, straightforward, straight groove. So if I go into straight grooves folder, I've already kind of got this sussed out just as an example, but I'm digging Alt Groove 18. So I'm just going to play that. And it's got that cool fill in it already, so I'm just going to drag that out there. And you'll see it has the space at the end of it, so I just drag that back. So we have... Cool, and then I wanted to go into a sort of post-hardcore kind of fill sort of thing. So in the backbeats folder, I've got this folder called In Between, and I'm going to choose In Between 1. Drag that in, so that'll come from here. That's cool. I want to put just a kind of short kind of fill break in there just instead of that snare at the end. So inside the short drum breaks, you'll just find these kind of 2-beat breaks. 1, 2. And they're just designed to be kind of slipped in a position where you're just maybe doing a transition that doesn't sound right from going from beat to beat, but I kind of like that dricka dricka, so in fact, wait a minute, go short break 12. And if I pull that in there, you'll see it has a space at the end. It's just meant to be the 2 beats, so I'll drag that back and I'll just put that in place, so that now goes like so. I want to go half time, so I'll just scan through some of these grooves here. of digging that vibe, so I'll drag that in. So we're going from here. For an example, if you want to add another fill in there, we've got a thing called halftime fills. So they're obviously a lot of the fills that are in the fills folder are kind of double time orientated, 16 notes, really fast, but the halftime fills kind of fit in better with the halftime and quarter time beats. So for instance, halftime fill 6. If I just drag that over the end of that file, then I'll have this. I then want to dive into some sort of straight groove again, maybe with a double kick kind of pattern. So I'll hit up the straight grooves folder, and inside there, each one of these has obviously the kind of straight and then a variation and then a double kick pattern. I love groove 9, it's really kind of driving groove. You can hear it just from the standard one. But I want to put in the double kick variation. Drop that in, but I just want to use half of it and then go halftime. So by all means you can do whatever, you can cut these up to any section you want, so I just want half of that, and then I'm going to use the same groove but variation 4, and drag that in and half that also. So now I've got this. Now I'm wanting to go into some sort of kind of hook just to split up the song, go into kind of a breakdown almost sort of thing. So in hooks there's loads of different variations here that you can use to kind of spice up any sections and get some ideas for guitar parts. Hook 4 is the one I'm going for. So that's going to go in there. What I want to do here is I want to go double time, but I want to add a fill as well. So I'm going to choose my favourite double time beat, which was the same as in skate punk, and it's groove 2. But I'm going to choose variation 2 because it's got some cool fills in it. I'll drag that in. Now, if you have a listen here, just to take the space back at the end here, if you have a listen here, there's 4 hi-hat clicks, but I want to add a fill in here. I'll just show you. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all, but for this example, I just want to add a kind of short break in there. So if I go to short drum breaks and just get the trick-a-dra, put that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it over here, have a look at it. Again, it's got the space at the end, so just shorten it to the way it's meant to be. And then I can pretty much just drag that right over the top of that section there, and now it'll go. Like so. Say I want to go in a kind of quarter time heavy sort of thing. Just have a scan through some of the files. We'll choose that one. So and then we're going to add in a kind of break. Let's have a look in the breaks folder. So let's drag it out there. This wouldn't make sense, so I'll pull it back so it goes. So I just pull it back here. And then say we want to go into a kind of backbeat, hit up backbeats, and I just want it to be a kind of normal time, and let's have a listen. Digging that. So drag the space back, and I'm just going to finish off the first part of the drum section by hitting in a hook here. It's kind of got an ending to it, so have a scan through. And we'll just use that. So this is what we got. So that's just the kind of basic idea of how to put together drum tracks with the straight grooves. I'm going to move on to something not overly complex, but just a bit different. This hand grooves folder here is basically designed to be the sort of punk / hardcore beat that's just slightly off the one of the 1, 2, 3, 4. So your standard straight groove will go 1, 2, 3, 4, kick, snare, kick, hit, snare. That sort of thing. The hand grooves go 1, 2, 3. So in order to do that with the MIDI files, got to kind of stay in the same folder, and I'll show you how to get out of it. But first of all, I'll just talk through what's in it. So each hand groove has an intro groove. Now you don't need to use these; they're just ideas to get you started. So let's just have a look and see what hand groove 1 is. Double click on that, and I'm just going to pull it in. So this is still at 200 beats per minute. Let's have a listen to it. So say that was your kind of guitar intro sort of thing. This is what the hand groove consists of as an audio file, as a MIDI file. You hear how it starts on a Now the reason that is because the beat ends like this. So when you click in a close hat and pop that in there, it's going to go. And then say I choose this variation crash after it. So let's have a listen to that. So we've got fills in here as well, short and long. If I choose short fill, place it here. Just going to drag back the space and put it at the end of the bar of the groove, so it goes like this. Go back to say hand groove 1 and choose the floor. Say I want to use a long fill here, so let's have a listen to them. So da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Don't need to pull the space back on that, but you can see it takes up 4 beats there, so I'll drag it over the top here. Let's say I want to go half time, I'll go back into my hang groove, choose the half time variation. And then we have quarter time variations. So the hang's this bit, hang. Now, there is a way, for instance, if I was to want to now go into a straight groove, it wouldn't sound right. Sounds kind of weird, so what we're going to do, to come out of a hang groove, you need to use a straight fill. So I'm going to choose this fill, just fill 1, straight fill, pull back the end and just drag it in here. Now I can go into straight groove now because the timing's kind of sorted itself out. So now if I want to go back into a hang groove, it's not going to sound right, just if you place the groove in here. So it's missing a beat, so what you have to do is you have to get a hang fill. So say we choose a long one. Place that in here. Now I can go back into my hang groove. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to play back the whole section there of what we've just created. Yeah, so the long and short of it is, if you're using the hang grooves and you want to go into a straight groove, you need to use a straight fill before it. And if you want to come out of a straight groove and go into a hang fill, you need to use a hang fill before it. So maybe hate to watch that a few times just to suss it out, but I just wanted to be able to make that that kind of offbeat version of the groove. So finally, I have a folder in here that is 3/4 stuff. Now they're going to play back totally cool if you've got your default 4/4 or whatever in here. They're not going to cause any issues. But when you look at the actual bars to kind of connect fills and stuff up, it might seem a bit awkward. So you can easily drag these in here. But obviously your click track's going to go out. So what I just suggest doing is in your DAW, if you are going to use 3/4, it's just to change up your meter to be 3/4 so your click corresponds to it and your grid matches up. Now it'll be much tidier and easier to do. Excuse me, I put that in the wrong place. Put it here. So you've got those ideas, and then you have like a normal time version. So you also can drag in the fills there, and they make much more sense when you've actually got your meter changed to 3/4. So, for instance, let's stop that and have a zoom in. And you just place that there, and you usually have to maybe drag back just one sort of bar of space there. And then back into a groove. Let's have a look at a short fill. So it goes. And then you can go into, say, quarter time. So yeah, that would have been much easier on my part if I'd set my grid to quarter notes instead of half, but yeah, you get the idea. Just feeling the vibe, and the fills are in there to be able to kind of link up each section. So this is what you've got in 3/4. Yeah, and that just about wraps it up. I don't think there's anything else that's really like any hidden madness that you wouldn't be able to figure out yourself. Like I say, the main thing would be just dragging back any space and just fitting your drum tracks and building them how you like. There's another quick way to do that, and that would be just to create a separate MIDI file lane, where you could kind of just like drag in, say you built your drum track up here, and then you could just have these down here in the second lane and just kind of fit them in wherever you want, and drag them wherever you want, or cut up your MIDI files. Further to that as well is obviously you can change anything within these. If you don't like the velocities, or you feel that maybe all the kick drums are too dynamic or not dynamic enough, you can just jump in there and change your velocities in any DAW. I have kept the cymbals fairly dynamic in most of these, trying to make them sound real. I did use my electric drum kit for the majority of the beats, so yeah, feel free to mess about with them. But that's basically a quick rundown of how to build a drum track and get good drums with the Punk and Melodic Hardcore MIDI pack. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a shout. Thanks a lot.